In this video, I'm going to show you how to clean a Midea U-shaped air conditioner, and I'm going to show you how to do it without taking it apart, with no chemicals, and you don't even have to remove it from your window. Before we get started, I do want to mention that this particular unit has been recalled. So if you don't want to do this, or you want a repair done to it, I'll leave a link in the description over to the Midea website, where they are processing all of that. And I think they're doing a pretty good job. They're being pretty proactive about the situation. But if you want to take care of this on your own, this is all at your own discretion. And you should definitely at least get the kit to fix this. And I made a video on that. I'll leave that in the description as well. The problem with these units is that there was originally no drain on the outside, and water just sits there, moisture builds up, and it creates an environment that mold loves. So Midea got some reports about it, and they decided to recall the unit. But again, if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to clean it, here's how I'm going to do it. I did make a video on how to kind of take this apart to clean it, and I've been racking my brain on how to clean it easier, and this is what I came up with. I bought a steamer. So this is what I'm going to use. I have purposely neglected this unit and let it get real nasty for the purposes of making this video. Let's check it out. So in order to inspect the unit, I have a flashlight, and you just lift this flap up and you look in here and you look at the blue kind of squirrel cage, they call it, or the fan is covered with stuff. And on the back wall, there is a bunch of black. It could be mold, it could be just dirt, but regardless, we're gonna clean it. And the other spot, when you open this up, you can see I have not cleaned my filter in a while. It's looking pretty gross. You can take this right off of here. And then behind the filter, probably because it's so dirty, all of this mold is building up here on these fins. And that doesn't look great. So let's plug in the steamer, fill it up, and get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take this off to make this easier. You could just tilt it up like this and get in there like that, but this will be easier. You just pop it off here, and then you're going to need to kind of rotate it like this, pull up in the middle, and hold the sides like that, and then these will come off of these right here on both sides. So my steamer is plugged in, and while that heats up, I'm just going to go on the outside. You can probably do this from the inside if you actually have a drain plug, and I'm just going to take that out. So I got a mask on, I have a headlamp, and I'm going to take a screwdriver and just put it in the fins here so those won't rotate while I steam them. And I'm just going to steam this whole thing. We'll see how it goes. That's what it looked like. That's what it looks like now. Once that steam starts breaking everything down, I'm going to take a spray bottle. This one you can adjust so it's kind of like a jet and less of a mist. And I'll start spraying this down. You can see all that's going away. And this might seem a little counterproductive with this being water, but there's going to be water in here regardless. And you can use chemicals if you want, but I really don't want to. You can see that is nice and clean. Now that I'm really spraying that, there's water accumulating here, but it is draining to the back. If you look at the little pieces, and that's what we want. And really, you need that drain on the back to do this, because that's just going to fill up with water and continue this cycle. turn the fan to a new dirty spot. Right there. Keep the process going. Give this area a little assistance. Be sure to clean that real good because that's where everything is draining. Let's clean this out a little bit so we're not loading everything into the back of the air conditioner. Ew. If you can find something like this will definitely help you. This is a little flexible plastic paintbrush I got at the dollar store for $1, and you can see this back wall on this side, it's full of stuff. It's just having a hard time getting that off. But on this side is where I used the brush, and it's nice and clean. And this can get back a little further, so I can sneak it in here and just kind of clean like this and go as far as I can without dropping it in there. One of those pipe cleaners that your kids might use for arts and crafts would be good, or one of those long medical cotton swabs could work. Anything you can do to get as much stuff out of here as possible. This is working. This is all clean. We're going to spin it again. What a difference. I'm going to tuck this in here with a screwdriver and just try and clean under here a little bit. Some of that stuff might be a little piled up. So I rotated that fan all the way around, and I think I got it pretty darn clean. The back is all clean. So now I'm just going to take the steamer without the screwdriver in there and just steam this whole thing and then spray it down one more time, and we should be good in the top. Do that a couple times because I am seeing some of that stuff just fell and then hit the back side of the fins. I'm gonna make sure this is wiped down a little bit before we move on, just on the outside here. But this one, I don't think I'm going to use steam. I'm going to be a little more careful and just use hot water and a toothbrush and clean all these fins. Starting right here. Maybe I'll steam it at the end. We'll see. Yeah, works pretty good. I'm going to put some paper towels right below the air conditioner to get any water. It might fall. Doing the top and working my way down. So there's one way under here that's pretty tricky to get to. So I'm just going to try and spray that and steam it. And I want to get underneath it too, because I'm sure there's stuff built up under there. Clean some of this up. careful because these fins are sharp. So this is pretty much clean. And this side definitely isn't. So there's a before and after for you. Since I know there's more stuff back here at the bottom, I'm going to try spraying on the back of the wall up here to see if it'll help some of it to come down. And then I can force it this way, out that drain. So I'm just going to dry up as much of this as I possibly can with paper towels. Get the rest of this out of here. Now this is totally optional. I have my air compressor hooked up and I turned it down to about 75 PSI. We introduced a lot of water and heat to this, so now I want to try and dry the whole thing out. You could even use maybe a hair dryer on a cool setting, or even a spray can of air, or a leaf blower. Maybe not a leaf blower, but just going to try and dry this out. I don't know why it's coming on like that. The power's off. Hope I'm not doing anything to it. Now I'm going to clean all this stuff. You can see on the louver, there's some nastiness here. Obviously the filter is in terrible, terrible shape. And then this, though you can't really see it too well, there is a lot of dirt on this. So we're going to clean all this stuff. I'm just going to use some warm water and a toothbrush, a little bit of dish soap. You can see that's already nice and clean. And I actually have this thing right here that's really handy. So I'll use that. Flip it over. Now we can do the louver. And now the filter. So it goes in like this. All this stuff is stuck to this side. So I'm going to flip it and get the majority off like this. And then I'll clean both sides. You want to be a little careful with this. You don't want to rip the screen. Now we can dry all this stuff off. Now we can put the louver back on. This piece right here goes into here first, like that. And then I'm going to hold it in the middle and bend it down so that it locks into the other side, like that. And then snap it down into the middle. And put your filter back in. It goes just like this. Should still have that curve. It goes in that track, Look at how clean that looks. And then for the face, these hooks go into the locations down here, like that, and then snaps into place. Now, I'm gonna leave that drain plug out for about 24 hours, and I'm gonna run this on fan only. And I'm hoping that will help to dry this out completely. Lever's working. Little water. It's blowing. This kicked right back on, and I didn't smell any mold, and I didn't smell any cleaner because we didn't use any. I'm just gonna go to cool to see if the compressor kicks on. It sounded like it is. We'll see if it gets cool. And you don't have to be as thorough as I was using the air compressor and even using the steamer. If you use some hot water with that water, like the jet spray, that worked really well. And like I said, I'm gonna run this on fan only for about an hour or so. And I'll leave that drain plug out and put it back in. I don't wanna forget that. Now the AC is working, kicked on, so should be all set. So if you needed to clean your AC unit, I hope this video helps. And if you do need to look into the recall information, I have a link in the description over to where you can do that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.